Well, hello. Welcome to one of actually the last first round matches that we have in the main tournament of Link to the Past Randomizer, but it is certainly not the least. We actually have two extremely talented runners with actually pretty good backstories here. Benteezy versus Eri. Definitely promises to be an excellent match. I am Claire Mouse, joined today here with Koi. Koi, how are you doing? Are you excited?
I am doing very fantastic. Yeah, I'm actually super excited because we often talk about like the importance of execution in playing randomizer, and even though there's a huge component of routing and luck, to be honest, execution is still incredibly important. But less so when both players are this good.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about execution, so certainly there is, Eri, who is a very household name, especially known in the NMG community. He has an amazing 123 time, inching closer actually to that world record. So yeah, these guys are no slouches to execution. Definitely promise to be a really actually well executed race for sure.
Yeah, Aries actually in fourth place on the NMG leaderboard, but he's closer to first place than he is to fifth place.
Yeah, it's actually really crazy, like how and like just how much work and how good you have to be in order to even get a 123 times. It's just really crazy. I
And then
think that
on the
yeah.
other side though, Benteezy, he has like a 120, like a really low 125, which isn't first place, but it's good for like 27th out of what 2 million people who played this game.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like the even cutting down, especially at that level, like the seconds. I mean, people talk about like the minutes maybe not seem like that's such a big deal, but yeah, when you get up there, I mean, every second is just like is ridiculous, like a whole nother skill level.
So what I expect to see from this race is lots of really high execution, but probably not an execution as a difference maker. I don't really expect one of them to have any like serious mistakes or be so much better than the other that the execution's going to be what we're talking about at the end.
Oh yeah. I
But they're
mean,
going
this
to be
is
real good the whole time.
oh yeah, and this is one of the differences between Rando and NMG, right? NMG the routes are set. Rando, you get to be as creative as you want to be. Starting with, we have a unconventional NMG weapon, which is the fire rod, pretty early.
Yeah, both runners using two fire rod shots there to kill some guards, trying to get that prize pack information to see if we can get bombs from guards, and then picking up the two small magics to refill it. Free
Yeah.
checks. Eri even going out of his way to kill this guard with bushes. Doesn't get a drop though. Feels bad, man.
Yeah, sadly, every drop, is technically 50-50, but, sometimes you have to wonder about this game. Is it really 50-50? After you see, like, 4 drops, or 4 enemies in a row, like,
We did see the first drop already, which was a heart. So our second drop is unfortunately a heart. So no bombs in this game. But if the second one had been a fairy, we could have got bombs. All right, so they both have that information that no bombs from guards, so we probably won't see any extra guard kills. Fire Rod is a kind of a great weapon for front of escape though, because just everything dies in one hit. No chance to really gain or lose time though to being good at bomb strats or aiming correctly with the hammer. Just fire rod, boom, done.
yeah, it's definitely the fastest, probably weapon in this case. But yeah, as you said though, if we're gonna try and farm out some bombs though, it may not necessarily be the most efficient. I mean, it does clear out a lot of enemies to get that potential AOE, but you get a very limited number of shots, and there's not a lot of magic refill here in Escape.
Yeah, I think there are 3 pots in the back of Escape that they'll be able to use to refill their magic. We'll probably get some kills on the rats, but both players should know that oh, it's unfortunate for Benteezy. You got the bad guard RNG there. Had to waste an extra shot. But both players should know that they won't be able to get bombs from killing the snakes, the ropes.
So we almost have an NMG start. We have the red boomerang, maybe something that is a little bit more familiar to our runners, just slightly different timing, and it looks prettier, right?
Yeah, basically vanilla.
So So of course, we are going to try and make our way, to the back of Escape. We did pick up a small key, which is of course a requisite in order to get to the back of Escape. And hopefully, if there are bomb drops in the back, we're going to try maybe kill a couple of rats with our limited magic. Eri actually using that as a boomerang to his advantage, as long, same with Ben, trying to get that extra chance for a bomb drop. Unfortunately, or fortunately, the stun prize is 20 rupees today. No bombs!
Yeah, not the stun prize they wanted for the escape, but in general, not a bad stun prize. If rupee management becomes an issue, stun prize for 20 rupees is pretty nice to have.
Yeah, and especially, if we go the more, traditional, go to Kakariko after Escape, we will have potentially plenty of money in order to pay off the bottle vendor, among other things.
Alright, Eri going after these extra small magics. There's 2 in this room. And he's only getting 1 of them. Okay. But he got the one that's out of the way.
Yeah. Oh no, and of course, these rats don't want to move, right? Oh man, it's like you finally get a magic drop, can use it, and, the rats don't even drop anything. Alright, no luck so far. We have a heart piece. Looks like both winners are currently, they probably at least want to save 1 shot for the key rats.
Rupee prize back.
Yep. So we are not getting any bombs today.
Well, both runners got the information. That's the good thing.
Right, exactly. So at least if you can't get to the back of Escape, you know that your opponent also can't get back there this time around.
No!
Oh,
he
these
stunned the wrong one.
Yeah,
there's an extra pot. Oh, I didn't know about that pot. I guess there's 4 pots then.
Yeah, this is great game knowledge from Ben.
He doesn't know which is which. He just had to guess.
All right, did he guess? All right,
he
got it. He got it. This is great. This is incredibly resourceful on Benteezy's side. I really like seeing something like this.
Yeah, so the key rat's initial position is static, right? Every time you spawn the super tile, he'll always start on the left side over there. But there's another one that starts near him, and they can each go any direction. Yeah, so unless you get over there quick enough and really see, it's not always super obvious which is the right one.
This just goes to show you got to take out these rats early before they, consolidate and start some solidarity and try to, guard each other. Alright, so I don't think we saw a map in Escape, correct me if I'm wrong, so that means there's probably going to be 2 items in the back that we're going to try and get eventually. So of course the hope is we're going to try and find a glove soon. That means it's our quick access to the back of Escape, otherwise, maybe we'll try and find the boots or something to get back there faster.
It's pretty uncommon to have a standard seed that forces you to re-walk through the Escape, but it can happen, absolutely.
Oh, well, never mind.
Not today, though, because we just got a glove.
That's right. All right, so sight for sore eyes for both of our runners. Soon on Benteezy's side, as soon as he gets up there after this tree pull. Yeah, so as soon as they
need tier 2.
Yeah. So just some arrows. So really nice for late game. Nothing probably, at least for the early game, unless of course they find that bow.
Alright, so you see both players pull the tree. That's their tier 2 pull from their trek through the Escape. And it resets the trees. So then he kills 1 more enemy, and now we get a tier 1 pull, which is different, but also not bombs.
Yeah, I like the boomerang usage here to try and at least hit the crow so he doesn't get in the way.
I think it's a 4 boomerangs to kill a crow.
That's right, yeah. So it's a 2 sword slashes, fighter sword slashes, or 4 boomerangs. Eri actually using that glove, trying to get some 50-50 bomb drops under the rocks. Not having any luck though. Alright, he managed to get 1.
And now, despite both players having completely different RNG, enter Kakariko at pretty much the exact same time.
Yeah, it looks like, Eri is not even going to bother farming any more bombs. So, of course, the hope is that, we definitely need 1 for the back of Blind's Hut, and the hope is that we're going to be able to find some more bombs along these many checks that we're going to get in Kakariko.
How are we this synced? Like, how is this even possible?
This is how good these guys are.
They are completely disjointed the whole Escape, and now we're synced.
We found some pretty good goodies, though. We got luck. Well, may or may not be promising, but certainly could be required. We did get a nice hammer, which is a permanent weapon, does 10% damage, and so long as you believe in the hitbox, which may or may not always be the right thing to put your faith in, you know, we got something about a good weapon.
Oh, nice. So both runners were unwilling to go to the Kakariko well without a bomb because it's just too risky. So they were going to go down and buy some. But on the way, let's check the bottle merchant, and whoa, he has some bombs.
Yeah, that's certainly a better deal than Zora for sure. But still, 100 rupees for 3 bombs, a little high for price range.
You cannot put a price on peace of mind.
That's true. Yeah, especially when there are bomb lock bombs here in the well.
Naturally.
No magic so far, though. I mean, it's certainly not to be expected. But, you know, they do have a fire rod, which maybe perhaps it would be nice in order to get a magic drop from somewhere eventually. Would be pretty helpful once they go over to the main Moldorm cave. Because, you know, trying to kill the Moldorms with the hammer is not exactly, you know, the best or most fun thing.
Yeah, it's difficult and dangerous.
Right, so back at Chicken Hut, we did find another Y item for us, Ether Medallion. Fastest one out of all the medallions, of course, but we still gotta find that sword in order to be able to use it. And of course, you know, we do need some magic.
It's just a catch-22 all over the place.
Yeah. Alright, so presumably this is going to be a library check and a race game check from both our runners. Curious to see if either one will decide to do the race game blind versus make a quick check, and then otherwise we are going to potentially get some divergence.
I think the meta is to check it first. The meta being like what most people end up doing.
Yeah, looks like you're absolutely correct. Just a fighter shield on the race game, so my guess is that no one is going to go back and pick that up.
Alright, so Eri going back of escape here to finish up those last few checks while Benteezy headed to South Shore. I can't imagine he's going to Mini Moldorm Cave, though. It would be a very dangerous endeavor to go to Mini Moldorm Cave with this equipment, but not impossible.
Yeah, I mean, so he does have the book that they picked up from Kakariko, so this could certainly be a damn play. If there is nothing exciting, maybe he'll go over to Agina, maybe take a peek at Desert Ledge.
Yeah, that's a pretty dangerous play too, going into Desert at this point.
And so there was like a ton of money back there in the back of escape. So I guess Aries got Zora money for eventually when he wants to go.
Mini Moldorm Cave, a little bit more reasonable for Eri, because he at least has one fire rod shot. Killing Mini Moldorms with the hammer isn't impossible, it's just not easy, and if you mess up, you usually take 1 to 2 hearts of damage getting hit and then getting knocked off, and when you're only on 3 hearts, that's not so great.
Yeah, no,
Mini
Moldorms
headed to Desert.
Yeah, okay. So we're actually not. I mean, it looks like we're potentially getting a peek at Desert Ledge. May or may not go in, depending on what I guess like Ben wants to do. Just $50 though, so probably not going to pick up.
We're going in.
Wow. All right.
This is
a play. This is a play by Ben.
Okay, so this is first of all, it might be boots locked, right? Like, it's certainly possible this is just boots locked and he's not going to be able to finish it. But if it's not boots locked, now we're looking at doing hammer landmo, because he's not going to have any magic left over for actually using the fire rod.
That is certainly true. This is, you definitely want a lot of magic. I mean, so maybe we can get fortunate and he'll pick up half magic, which does, of course, give you the full magic refill and, you know, cuts your magic usage in half.
Alright, well, Eri gets the fire rod shot on that first Mini Moldorm, which is the scary one. But then he has to use all his bombs to finish off the other 3. And we are boots locked in Desert Palace. And there's Dark World access in Mini Moldorm Cave for Eriror, and he's skipping Ice Rod!
Also skip the full heart refill from Sync Hearts. It looks like Eriror is not going to care. Alright, well, so alright, we have Dark World access already at under 15 minutes. I mean, area is definitely free to go there. Would be curious. It is, of course, Dark World is a bit dangerous on only 4 hearts. Oh yeah, and Eri probably wants some bombs too.
Would not be bad.
What is Akina hiding out for us today?
Oh, what was it?
It was a heart container.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, so certainly not probably what Benteezy would like, but certainly at this point, especially we know that on Aries' side we have Darkhold access. It's probably not going to say no to some extra help early on.
It's a little non-standard for Eri to go to Sahasrahla here. This is usually something you do when you're still looking for Darkhold access. But I guess, since he was going to buy bombs anyway, might as well continue walking and get these 3 quick checks. Oh my god, did he find glowing flippers? What?
Wow, what a haul from Sahasrahla, oh my gosh. Alright, so we are going to be able to, I mean, Eri is certainly going to be able to clear Eastern at this point. We technically might be lamp locked out of the back, but I mean, Eri's probably done Eastern at this point, probably to sleep, so I don't imagine that being too bad.
I swear, I can't imagine that he was going to Sahasrahla for any reason other than, well, I mean, I'm going this way to buy bombs anyway. I might as well keep going.
Is Ben going to be doing something similar?
Yeah, I think he will, because Ben wants to avoid going to Mini Boulder Cave because he has 1 bomb and, 2 fire rod shots. So it makes sense for him to, run up and go to Sahasrahla real quick.
Yeah, I mean, certainly if he goes over to Eastern Palace, he's going to be very well rewarded.
It's not the end of the world. He may end up going to Sahasrahla sooner rather than later, or if he just finds a bow somewhere else, then he'll get drawn over to Sahasrahla. But for now, this is advantage area, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, so that is the thing with progressive bows. There is one other bow out there, so especially if it's early on. So Aries not going to be able to pick up silvers, of course. This is hard mode, but Ben, if he finds the other bow, that's going to be very well, very good for him. So I think we saw a big key and compass so far on Eastern Palace, so nothing really exciting, but we do know at least that we don't need to go to the middle big key chest for that big key. Which means I think it is Eastern Palace, at least to clear Eastern Palace, it's the logic.
Oh, weird. I've never seen anybody do Mini Malorm Cave from right to left. Oh, he skips Ice Rod Cave too. That's funny. I mean, I can't blame either of these runners. I know if I was in a race against somebody with the kind of execution that these guys have, I'd feel like I needed to make all the skips, to even have a chance.
Yeah. And of course, this one looks like Ben might be actually just going to Dark World immediately. Yeah. So with that Moon Pearl pickup, right? You have so much of Dark World open, and the chance you finding maybe flute or boots, right, to kind of help you speed over there to Ice Rod Cave. That's definitely going to be some time save.
Yeah, the idea is you're either looking for flippers, which Eri found, or the flute. Eri using his bow to pinpoint his location in that dark room. No sword to light the way. And Hype Cave with all the things. And by things, obviously, I meant rupees, arrows, and a piece of heart. The mirror! Oh, no. So this essentially random walk over to Sahasrahla real quick, since I was buying bombs anyway, has now led to a bow, the flippers, and a mirror for Eri. This might actually not be all that bad, though, for Benteezy, because if so many items are locked behind this decision to go to Sahasrahla, that limits how many locations Ben's going to be able to go to, and, he'll probably just get, at worst case scenario, get bottlenecked into going to Sahasrahla later, or sooner rather than later. Aries sets up for his top right Armo skill, goes for the pinkish strat. Very nicely done. You might have noticed him throw one extra arrow south as he was walking over from the right side to the left side. That is a 10-frame time saver. Calculated.
How do you get a world record if you can't say frames?
Well, he didn't do the user strat though.
Yeah, so far it looks like actually going over to Sahasrahla and moving on over to Eastern Palace, right, with that bow that we just found, has actually definitely really paid off for Eri. You know, being able to pick up half magic was always a really nice find, and that mirror. Gonna make his Dark World and Light World reversal just that much nicer.
To answer chat, the bow was in Sahasrahla's closet. I can't. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he just always goes to Sahasrahla before going to the Dark World. But I'd say typically, and from what we've seen so far, it looked like Eri only went to Sahasrahla because he had to buy bombs anyway, and he figured he'd just continue the walk to Sahasrahla. So finding anything in there was like this huge reward, and he ends up finding 3 things.
We are getting a very early pedestal check on Benteezy side, you know, certainly very understandable with that book. Looks like, though, it's going to be nothing that we care about today. Of course, it'd be very, very surprised if anybody goes back for that. But at least it's good knowledge. You know, potentially if there are pendant bosses that we want to clear, that we know that we don't, there's no item anymore on the boss, then we can actually just quit out of that dungeon much, much earlier. Blind checking Lake Highlight. This seems much more common, at least certainly in this tournament, than I think I at least remember seeing before. But you know, just luckily it's only $20.
Well, usually you just don't have the Flipper's Mirror and Dark World access before you had the opportunity to check it, right?
Yeah, I guess like one thing potentially was, since Aria's going down to buy bombs, he could have at least taken a peek. But it looks like, you know, just opted to choose to blind check instead.
Oh, yeah,
Nothing in Waterfall Ferry though. Like it's just, we're just nickel and diming our way through. Back of Escape was like way nicer for us.
A hand up lamp. Wow. All right, so Aries' errant trip to Sahasrahla has now led to a bow, flippers, a mirror, and a lamp.
Yeah, Eri is really racking up the Y items here.
Meanwhile, Benteezy is looking at doing Pendant Thieves Town with no sword and a hammer.
Oh no. And not to mention 3 now working hard. Used to have 5. You know, we just actually see how dangerous Dark World is, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much everything on the overworld does 2 hearts damage. Not to mention, wow, all of these Isaacs inside Thieves Town itself. Although maybe this is good for Benteezy, you know, if since he doesn't have the mirror, this is a pendant dungeon, maybe he is interested in just doing the front 4 and then Death Ward.
Yeah, I really doubt he's going to stay past the front.
No.
Although that's really irritating that you get a bottled fairy when you want a Death Ward.
Yeah, also,
maybe he'll stay, like, just to avoid ditching his fairy, he'll stay.
Yeah. You know, at least like the good news is that that's our first bottle, so eventually when we go back to Kakariko, we can check it. But yeah, as you said, it's like, of all things in the bottle, why did it have to be a fairy? Small key is not something we necessarily want to see. We know that one's going to be middle big key though. So only just 1 item in the front. Looks like Benteezy. Oh no, he's gonna.
No, he forgot about the fairy.
That's right.
Womp womp.
Oh. Alright, though, Eri, though, on the other hand, looks like with that bow, with that hammer, with the mirror and flippers, we're gonna get a quick host.
Oh man.
Before we go over to Pod.
So Benteezy was death warping. He was done with Thieves Town, but then upon realizing, oh yeah, I have a fairy, has decided, you know what, fine, I'll just stay. I'll do Swordless Blind. I don't care if it's a pendant. Give me something good.
We have 3 items here in the back. You know, potentially all 3 of them are going to be for Blind himself. So, you know, hey, we can press our luck. Maybe there will be a sword just waiting for Benteezy, and then, you know, another sword. Maybe.
So worth noting, Eri did not go to Ice Rod Cave with his flipper checks. I would have expected him to do that after skipping it early, but I guess really hoping he just gets a flute later.
Yeah, and this is certainly very reasonable, right? Pot is a crystal. You can fully clear it, with that lamp, with the bow, with the hammer. Eri has come here probably on much less health, although it would be kind of nice if you find a sword at some point.
Yeah, Helmet Sword is a little scary, but if you're just, you just try and be careful, it's not so bad. Oh wow, sword in the back of Thieves Town.
Wow,
okay, so this could be how Benteezy comes back.
Oh, geez. He needs to be careful with these crickets, though. Unfortunately, they do 2 hearts of damage. But yeah, so sword blind. Any level of sword blind is going to be nicer than hammer blind for sure. Yeah, it's so nice that Eri also picked up the mirror in Eastern, right? Because pod running becomes a whole heck of a lot nicer too.
The sad thing is, like, if Benteezy does get another bow somewhere else, he probably goes to pod first and doesn't get the mirror until after he's full cleared pod. Because the dream is that you just find the mirror in pod and then you mirror over to Eastern after.
Right, exactly. Yeah, no, that's certainly true because you really want to be able to mirror from dark mode to light mode.
So it's sad that even if he finds the other bow, he still loses time because of the order you end up doing the dungeons.
So I think we did pull out. So Benteezy looks like he visited the big chest first before getting the maiden. I think it was bombs. I want to say.
Yeah, so he found all 3 items.
Oh, and yeah, he knows. He did an early pencil check that he knows that there's nothing of value related to the pendants whatsoever, so he can just get out. This is really nice.
Unless it's pedestal. And then I don't know what you're gonna do.
So Ben ended up checking.
Oh, he checked it. You're right. Yeah,
yeah. So that's why he knows he doesn't need anything for blinds. Yeah, but I mean, so the fact that, the sword was actually in Thieves' Attic, as you said, Koi, maybe this is actually going to be a pretty good advantage for Eri. There are 4 swords in the pool, but we are capped at tempered for both. But, I mean, that could very well be the difference between, Master Sword and Tempered Sword, right?
Yeah, and then for routing, too, not just, finding your Go Mode Master Sword, but having enough swords allows you to do certain things, right? With the sword now, Benteezy can now reach Pendant Mothula.
Oh,
yay!
Lucky him! With that sword, though, he can also use the Ether Medallion if he wants to. That actually might be reasonable in the back of Skull Woods, right? Especially if you want to save some of your fire rod shots. Assuming he goes back there, of course, it is a pendant.
I think at this point he's going to avoid going to the back, right? He'll clear the front first, hoping to find both items. But if he finds that there is something fire rod locked, we're probably going to see Mothula because he doesn't have much else left at this point, unless he wants to go to Ice Rod Cave or Bowless Eastern, right?
Yeah, I also just want to shout out that Eri did an amazingly no buffer hammer yoke that to get over here. That was pretty cool.
I think I'd be more impressed if it was a significant time save.
Well, it's always cool to see.
I think it does end up being faster though, since he had the big key and the small keys already.
So Eri has made his way at least to the back. Outside of a bunch of keys, I don't think we've seen anything else really of note. Benteezy doing a really nice job though with the statue room here in the back of Skull Woods. That room can actually be very, very tedious and annoying to do.
Yeah, you have to move very particularly to get the mummies to cooperate there. All right, Benteezy not doing the back of Skull Woods. Did we find both items? Or no, he's just going back for the big chest. Oh.
Looks like he was trying to do an early bomb jump. It's actually pretty difficult. I hope he has. Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter if he has enough health or not, because death warping, at least the front, is pretty cheap.
And no item. That's funny. He killed the mini
yeah, I was gonna say, like it's like
I'm trying
just...
to network. Can you get out of my way, please? And we are headed to the back of Pendant Skull Woods. Alright, so I mean, like, if this has progression, that it's huge, because Eri has access to so many things that are way better than the back of Pendant Skull Woods, right?
Yeah, and also because of
Not
that
to mention
sword
he
that
doesn't have a sword,
yeah, because of that sword that Benteezy found at the top of Peacetown, Eri can't even get back here. Although Eri is not going to have his own cup of tea. I mean, he is gonna face almost, or he does have 7 hearts, which you know, is certainly nicer than having 6 hearts. You know, the turtle just
Well, yeah,
cut him down. Yeah, cut him down.
You just had to say it.
I'm sorry, Eri. But yeah, this fight though is gonna be kind of it's not gonna be as fun. He does have the bow. But you know, no boots means no arming spin speed to make this a bit safer, so we can extend the hammer's hitbox. So it's not going to be probably in Eri's exact near-term muscle memory.
Not taking damage in the first phase is mostly just concentration. Like, you just pay attention to where the fireballs are. You just make sure that you don't walk towards Helmasaur when he's walking down. And then the second phase is just end this as fast as we can before he kills me.
Eri.
Okay, we're good.
Very, very nicely done. Eri definitely showed his patience to be able to not be as aggressive, because he knew that he was basically 1 hit from death.
Meanwhile, Benteezy headed to the... Oh, man. You're not going to have enough time. Oh, he made it! Wow.
Oh man. Alright, so unfortunately, oh man, these back of Skull Woods is just not fun. Looks like he doesn't want to, you know, he definitely wants to avoid taking damage at this point, because you know, he needs all the health he can get, you know, before facing off Mothula. He does have the hammer, so only quote unquote needs 4 hits, assuming that hammer lands. It does have, looks like, 2 fire rod shots to kind of get Moth out of the corner if he misbehaves, but this is not going to be an easy fight.
Yeah, on this equipment set, like, it's already difficult to have, like, a consistently fast fight, but on so few hearts with Green Mail, this is a difficult fight to just stay alive in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, jeez. Yeah, Mothula is also not behaving that well. I mean, he's, like, flying all over the place. Right? Oh my gosh. Ben! Wow, what a clutch hit!
Very nicely done. And just for bombs, though. Very unfortunate.
Oh yeah, not looking at saving, quitting, not even willing to pick up the pendant, because he knows it's completely worthless. So unfortunately, I saw that Eri didn't make a lumberjack check. I'm hoping it's nothing, but I definitely did not end up paying attention to what that was.
Okay, it looks like Ben is going to get back on track here, headed over to the eastern area. Hopefully he does do Sahasrahla before going into pod, which would be the standard thing to do.
Oh, right, because he does have Dark World access. Yeah. No, it looks like he is,
yeah, I mean, like
headed to the right
you come
direction.
you come over here, it's because of pod, and you just do Sahasrahla on the way. So he's going to get really rewarded here for getting a bow. And since he's already in the light world, I guess he might do Eastern first. I thought he would do pod first, but that was only if he found the bow somewhere else.
I mean, if he does Eastern first, he's gonna get, you know, very, very well rewarded, right? Because the half magic was there, and the mirror was there too. So, and maybe, you know, by hopes of doing Eastern first, maybe he'll find a lamp. You know, not that Ben needs it, but you know, of course, if you can see, it does speed things up a little bit.
Yeah, it's nice having a lamp. I think he'd be less worried about it though than Eri was earlier, just because he has a sword. It makes some of those dark runes much simpler. And Eri does find a sword as well. So our hope for Ben, and the only thing that he really has going for him at the moment, is he does have that extra sword from the back of Thieves Town, which Eri is less likely to end up doing. But there's still 2 more swords out there, and Eri may just not need that one at all.
This will actually be interesting if something is on either tablet. Nothing, of course, but this is actually going to be a very minor difference. You know, Aries going to came here with Fighter Sword, then presumably he's going to come here with Master Sword, so he's just going to actually just get the item outright, as opposed to Aerie, which, if that actually had meant something, it means Aerie had to come back for it with the Master Sword.
The other possibility is just, like, there's two more possibilities. Either something is so out of the way that Aerie ends up doing all those same checks that Benteezy did as well, and they end up evening up in that way. Or, nice.
Wow,
all the
okay.
sword. Or something is out of the way that maybe one of them skips but the other doesn't, and nothing else matters other than that, like, ice rod location or something similar.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, we did see both Mire and Turtle Rock are crystals. Associated with that, of course, are 2 medallions. We may or may not have what we need there, and of course, there's always the classic, where is the ice rod? Alright, so that sword also was really nice to fight Tower of Hera. The hope now, of course, is that Moldorm does have the last item, so we don't have to make any decisions about whether or not we want to go to the basement.
I skipped Ice Rod Cave earlier. I can't imagine he'd do Hera Basement.
Yeah, and if nothing else, right, if he skips it now, he can always come back for it later. You know, there are a lot of checks that was open up to us on Death Mountain, right, you know, the Paradox Cave.
Yeah, so Aerie has all of East Death Mountain, and then he also has, you know, like, Village of Outcasts and part of Skullwoods he hasn't seen either.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even Dig Game and Catfish and Stumpy. He can go into Swamp too.
Oh, great! We love going into.
Well, I mean, going to Hookless Swamp still sounds better than going to Hera Basement.
I did see a heart piece being dropped on Moldorm's side, which means oh no, what happened?
Benteezy skipped Eastern Palace Big Key Chest.
Oh my gosh! Dude,
oh no!
Is he needs to go back, like, immediately.
He's not gonna. That's not a thing.
No, you're right. I mean, it is a thing, just maybe not in the near, like, 35 minutes or whatever it is. Yeah, I mean, you know, this is a comment, you know, maybe Ben, you know, might have been more. Is it a hook shot on Long Island?
It was a shovel, I think.
Oh, shovel. Okay, it looked vertical. Oh man, yeah, this is not going to be, you know, good for Ben. It's not as. Oh man, I mean, so not only is Mirror, right, really nice for, you know, efficient routing, going from Light World to Dark World, but, you know, Swamp is a crystal. We are going to hard require that Mirror today.
The Eastern Palace Big Key skip is one that it feels like the right decision at the time, you know, because it's a 50-50 chance. You save a whole minute if you skip this. Nice mitts there and Spiral Cave from Aerie. But you know, if it's progression, you're like, there's no way really to come back unless it's just like the worst seed of all time, because you can't go back, right? Because if he went straight back into Eastern, that means he's behind the person who full cleared on the first trip.
That's
and
right.
Behind the person who skipped it, unless it's hard required progression. So going back is just, like, statistically just a bad play. So I mean, it's really unfortunate that he didn't go back, because it would have been the right play this time, but most of the time it's a bad play.
Yeah, no, I mean,
this is how do you come back from this? I don't even know.
You know, there are equalizers, right, in this game. We are potentially still going to go on medallion hunts, and, you know, ice rod hunts potentially. And, you know, if the mirror ends up being, you know, only required to necessarily get into the Swamp Palace, maybe, you know, maybe it won't necessarily hurt Ben, you know, in the, at least the short term.
Yeah, I think, like, so the mirror is currently locking our mitts and most of the game, right? Like, Aerie had to use the mirror to get over to the mitts. But maybe Benteezy ends up, like, going to Catfish or something and finds a hook shot and gets the mitts some other way, and then gets to avoid, like, double dipping left side swamp or something. Like, maybe, probably not, but it could happen, I guess. Like, there is still the possibility that the seed is just so terrible that even these decisions end up not being impactful enough to be the difference maker. But more likely what's going to happen
is
Benteezy's going to run out of locations and just go back to Eastern. Alright, Eri sneaking a peek over at Turtle Rock. It is Bombo's to enter. We do not have that one. And no hookshot or boots to do anything in Hookshot Cave, but we have to go through here to get to that floating shovel. Benteezy having a little trouble with this this little switch hit thing here. The idea is that you throw the bomb at the switch and then quickly walk back over or fall and respawn back over before it goes off. But the hard hat beetles were getting in his way there. Alright, so the mitts on Death Mountain, they did open up new things for Eri, but nothing he was super excited to go do. So it looks like Pendants and Overworld are going to be the play of choice here, heading straight into Village of Outcasts, skipping front of Skullwoods. But this is pretty much all Eri has right now, is like Skullwoods all the way down and around to like Swamp, and then also Green Pendant Ice Palace. So at least some of that time that Benteezy spent doing these pendants will come back to him.
Yeah, and you know, like the loadout that Eri has currently isn't really going to help him all that much to speed up the dungeon, right? You know, if it's kind of one thing if Eri ended up finding boots or something, that would really kind of speed up the things. You know, like for example, like East Town, right? You just dash through all these really long hallways.
So Benteezy also does the hammer jump here, like Eri did before. But in Benteezy's case, it makes a lot more sense for him to do it because he doesn't have the mirror. So doing the hammer jump in this situation allows him to avoid death warping. Of course, he would have the mirror if he had checked the
Yeah,
chest.
no, I mean that is just so unfortunate. I mean, it's just you really just hate to see.
I mean, I get why he did it, right? Because, you know, full clearing Pendant Skullwoods and Pendant Thieves did not feel great, and to get nothing there.
He did get a sword at least, but yes,
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, for how much time he kind of sunk into those pendant dungeons, probably a sword is probably not going to be the most desired thing.
And then when he gets to Eastern, he hasn't done the flipper checks yet, so you know it's like 50-50. But one of them's not even in logic, so what's the harm?
Oh, right, yeah. I mean, oh man, I hope he doesn't feel too bad when he eventually goes over to to check Sora and then he sees a lamp on the ledge and it's like. Oh, Eri's gonna give us a first hit check.
This is the thing about like staying in or out of logic is that something being out of logic isn't the whole story. You have to actually say this is not in logic yet, right? Because unless your literal last location, you don't know where the item that puts that in logic is, and it might be something you currently have access to.
Yeah, and in this case, right? Like, so we got the flippers from Zahashula's Plaza, so then the game kind of expected you to, you know, go over there and get your lamp and then come back, right?
Right, so Eri does choose not to do the back of Thieves Town here, so he won't be getting that sword, but he also won't be spending all that time either.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, you know, Eri, among, you know, and Ben would like to have a temper sword. Ben will most likely get his temper sword when he eventually gets over up there.
He'll
But,
get
you know,
it for sure.
Yeah, but, you know, Eri is more than comfortable with Master Sword. Okay, so I think this is our first stick game check. not too many digs, at least, for a prize that we're just gonna put completely out of our minds. Oh, wow. Was Benteezy doing Turtle's room in the dark? Okay, alright.
Yeah. He managed to flip them all over, but...
Yeah, it's definitely... This is not a room that you want to do in the dark unless you pretty much, you know, are very, very confident in your abilities, or, yeah.
What I like to do is, I'll do the first 2 hammer hits of your normal strat, because that's not too hard to do consistently, even in the dark. And then just ether.
Right, yeah,
and unless I got really bad turtle RNG, that should kill the remaining 4.
Yeah,
the fire rod also makes it really easy, because if you can just find that torch real quick, light up the whole room.
Yeah, it's probably, as you said, it's probably not so bad at the beginning, but when turtles don't behave, or you don't know where that last turtle is, I mean, those guys do 1 hard damage, right? And they'll chase you down.
Fire attack.
Oh, Ben. Oh, wow. That was a
1
last,
heart
jeez.
and a dream.
Oh my gosh, dude! I was so surprised he didn't even get sniped by that last fireball, but luckily he survived. Which is, I mean, you don't want to see a helmet death at this point. I think it would just be even further demoralizing at this point.
At least we can say, you know, as much time as Benteezy is losing to luck and or routing, you know, however you want to qualify it, he's not losing any time to execution. Like, everything has gone super well. No awkward deaths anywhere or really bad rooms where he lost a bunch of time.
Oh yeah, no, both Benteezy and Aries is definitely putting on a good show for us. As evidenced by the fact that Benteezy has not died on any of the bosses, even though it was, you know, a bit more. It was pretty scary at times.
And then the one time he tried to die, there was a fairy to save him.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe this is going to be the set of flipper checks on Benteezy's side. He's going to go visit Hobo, and then if he didn't check the island already, probably swim down and then go check Zora.
I'm curious what's going to happen with Aerie. So if Aerie doesn't get anything here from K45 and Purple Chest... Oh, never mind. He gets something. Never mind.
That's pretty good get.
Does he dive into Swamp, which he's standing right next to, but he doesn't have the hookshot? Or does he say, no, and go to Pendant Ice Palace? But with the flute, that's not... He's just going to go to Desert and Mire.
Would you activate this flute immediately? Like, go back now? And then go turn in Purple Chest with the flute? Or was you gonna still at least wait?
Well, because he wants to do bombos too, so I think you walk it, and then you just save and quit, or we'll walk back from there wherever you do.
Oh, Ben is visiting Ice Rock Cave first. Great.
All right, so this is actually our first Ice Rock Cave check. Aerie has skipped it on the first trip to Mini Moldorm Cave, and then he also didn't go when he had the flippers. But it'll be easy for him to get to this now because he has the flute. But just a heart container.
Yeah, I mean, it's still though, Ice Rock Cave at this point may not be the first thing on Aries' mind with that flute once he activates it, and those mitts. You know, Mire Shed might be one of the first stops. Zora, Benteezy side is camouflage.
Alright, so nothing great from the Smith sequence here.
Aries getting pretty close to that 14 heart maximum cap limit. So of course, this is being hard item pool. We are going to be capped at 14 hearts. So any health upgrades at that point is actually just going to be turned into green 20s. But at least Aries has the flute after getting that off of Bombo's tablet.
Yeah, so with the flute, Aerie now has quick access to turn that mushroom. He can run over to Ice Road Cave faster than he's ever been able to do so this seed, as well as the Mire area and being able to mirror over to the desert area. Of course, we already know that desert is boots locked. Benteezy went there super early, so we won't be able to full clear that. And of course, you do need the cane to finish Misery Mire, even if you have the right medallion for it. Or the boots and the hookshot to get inside, now that I think about it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So the flute, I guess the flute doesn't really unlock all that much, just like 3 overworld checks.
I would certainly not be surprised, of course, if we just found, hookshot or something else like that's like right next door. Oh, Eri does have his sword sticking out, which means this is actually going to cut down the delay between when he can call the flute and between that and activation. Alright, checking Desert Ledge first. We don't have boots, we don't have anything else really. This is probably going to be the faster way to do it. Nothing, as confirmed on Aries' side and Benteezy's side.
So I timed it.
Is it?
A few weeks ago. It is faster to mirror over to the ledge and just walk down than to flute
even
twice
without
like
boots,
that.
really?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, as long as you're going to mirror to the ledge anyway, like to go into desert, then it's faster to do that. But I mean, I guess if you were planning to not go into desert at all, then you'd want to flute twice.
Just some more money, unfortunately. Ari, I think at this point, can probably do without any more money for the rest of the scene, unless he really wants to, stock up on like 5 trips to the potion shop or something.
To fill his 1 bottle.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I mean, he could get a fairy in or no, that's the 1 bottle he has, isn't it?
Yeah, they both got that from Beasttown.
And there he gets the bad news. This is boots locked.
I mean, even though we're like 15 minutes into the scene, it's certainly hopeful that they're going to get the boots sooner rather than later. Alright, Benteezy spies that Master Sword on the ledge. No mirror, unfortunately, to get up there.
Yeah, feels bad, man.
I mean, well, so where else does Benteezy have left to go at this point? Before he kind of gets funneled back over to, oh, is this going to be a swap play? No, he can't even get in without the mirror. Where are we off to?
I'm not sure where he's going.
Catfish, maybe? Pyramid?
Oh, yeah, Pyramid Catfish. That makes sense. These are checks that we're probably not going to see Aerie do for a very long time, though.
Catfish.
Like, Aerie is much more likely to go to Pendant Swamp and Pendant... I'm sorry, Hookless Swamp and Pendant Ice Palace.
Yeah,
even full clearing the rest of 3-item Thieves Town would sounds nicer than going Pyramid Catfish.
I mean, if Ben ends up finding, the ice rod here or one of the medallions, right? We don't have either requisite medallion that we need. This could be pretty good, for Ben. Nice. So 50 minutes. All right. So
there you go.
At least we get a second bottle. What do we need left for go mode at this point? So we still need both medallions. We need our ice rod. We need Canis Maria, and we need boots. That's a lot of stuff.
and
hookshot. And hookshot. Jeez. Okay.
You'll find all the things. Alright, so Aerie did the desert area, the mire area, turned in the mushroom, and now it's going to Ice Rod Cave. None of this has anything. The flute was just a bust.
Yeah,
we'll need it later at least. But
the only thing it was good for. Yeah.
So Aerie's choices are now down to Caneless Green Pendant Ice Palace, Hookless Crystal Swamp, and Walking Pyramid to Catfish, which Benteezy is doing right now.
Well, when you lay it out like that.
Oh, maybe he's gonna finish Thieves and do Front of Skull. I forgot he didn't do these. Nothing on Catfish either.
Wow. Actually, so did either runner check the eject bumper ledge? We don't have the cape yet, but I'm curious.
I don't remember seeing it.
Okay. So Aerie does have the option to go into Graveyard Ledge if he chooses to go the North Dark World route.
I think this is it for Benteezy. He's out of checks.
All right. we are heading over to the Eastern Palace area, which you know, at least this is getting Benteezy back on track.
Yeah, this can't feel good though. All right, I last located progression item in Eastern Palace in a tournament race against the player with the absolute best execution in the entire rando community.
You know,
Darn it!
that's why these things are best of 3, right? You know,
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
a
Yeah,
world,
that's the
right?
nice thing. It's just game 1.
Yeah, I mean, in a different world, Ben would have just saved 1 minute, right, by skipping the middle of the key chest, right? And for all he knows, at the time, right, you know, it wasn't in logic, so maybe it probably didn't have anything important until he saw the lamp on, just sitting there on Zora Ledge. Okay, so I think, if I recall correctly, Mothula did have our last item.
Mothula had 3 bombs.
Well,
so Aries pretty desperate at this point for progression, so he's probably going to be killing Mothula for the second item. So I mean, if nothing else, that time that Benteezy spent here is being refunded in that way.
Yeah.
But you know, it's possible Benteezy gets the mirror and then ends up going somewhere completely different than Eri and finding super awesome progression, but more likely he just does all the same things Eri does and they get bottlenecked by the same thing.
Well, I mean, that is certainly very possible. I mean, and I guess I'm very curious to see, yeah, where in this case Benteezy would go. Maybe
well, he'll go to the mountain first. Like as soon as he gets the
mirror, yeah, that's right, that's right. Yeah,
and he'll get mitts. But then once he has the mitts, now what, right? Because going to Cave 45 isn't super great, but he can still do it with like the Smith checks. And he already knows that desert is boost lock, so there's not much value over there for him.
Well, you know, no reaction from Ben. No slashes of, you know, discovery or anything like that. Ben, as you said, he is up the mountain. Yeah. So, I mean, this is at least going to be good for Ben as well, right? He's going to be able to pick up Temper Sword in Hera once he gets up there, which is at least, you know, for the remainder of this game, he's going to have a 1-sword advantage, at least until Eri either goes back to Thieves Town or finds another sword somewhere.
I'm curious what Eri's going to do. Like, between finishing Thieves for 3 items, going to Hookless Swamp, and going to Painless Green Pendant Ice Palace, I think Thieves is the best, right? Like, if I had to make this decision, I think I'd choose Thieves over the other 2.
Well, there's also proximity, too, right? For why maybe you want to do Thieves Town here. You know, Ice Palace does give you 3 items counting that green pendant. You know, I have every confidence that Eri knows how to do the Ice Palace bomb jump. But it's also pretty slow, too.
I think the only thing I'd say against Thieves Town is this is something that's been available for so long that it's possible my opponent already did it, which in this case would be true. So, like, you know, if the progression's in back of Thieves, you know, I'd feel behind anyway, even if I got something. So that's why I'm super curious to see what Eri's going to do here. I think he probably goes to Graveyard Legend Checkerboard, or Bumper first, though.
And take the North Arc World. And yeah, if he wants to, he can also go over to Catfish and finish up his North Arc World loop.
Oh, he's not checking Ped.
I think he checked it earlier. Like, he mirrored right before. Yeah, and he checked it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, unfortunately, right, like, he couldn't really do what Benteezy did and, like, save and quit because he still needed that. I guess he wanted to walk out.
I guess he checked Ped first because he wanted to see if there was any point in trying to avoid killing the boss.
Well, I mean, but at least he has this knowledge now. So if he does clear Thieves Town, you know, we did see Benteezy finding all 3 items before Blind. So, you know, Eri doesn't have to kill Blind if he doesn't want to. Alright, so Benteezy did pick up that Temper Sword. Is going to make his Moldorm fight actually a little bit nicer, just because he could do some, you know, classic, you know, spin and a slash type of thing. Eri kind of had to pull out the hammer to, you know, try and stabilize.
Eri, don't die.
Oh, was he being chased? He was being chased by that Murderdactyl. Murderdactyls do 3 hearts of damage. That's not good. Don't death warp out here, Eri. Oh, did they? Oh no, that was intentional fall on Benteezy's side. Okay.
Yeah, he Didn't want to try the early bomb jump. In Hera.
I don't blame
It's
him.
a bit more dangerous in Hera than it is in Skullwoods. There is a spin slash setup that you can learn to be able to do that bomb jump without boots, though. We saw Eri do that earlier, but it's not something you have to know for NMG. Oh, Bombos, though, and Graveyard Ledge. That's
Yeah,
helpful.
that's gonna be a really nice find. So that's gonna get in entry. Well, open Turtle Rock. We don't have the Canis Mario, so we still can't get in. Just like
Yeah, it's required, but it doesn't do anything yet.
yeah. Unfortunately, Ben fell had an undesirable fall to move on. Such a bully, but you know, sword spin and a slash. We're good to go.
So this is kind of rude for Ben, though, right? He gets this super late mirror, and then there's progression in K45 and Graveyard Ledge.
He has to go back down the mountain.
Oh. Both of them, and like you go to one or the other, and you're like, ooh, and try to skip the remainder.
Yeah, K45 especially, right? For Ben. I mean, like, if you can route it over there with
with the Smiths, it's not so bad for the Smiths, but the Graveyard Ledge is pretty darn orphan for Benteezy unless he like gets boots or something. And even then, even in that situation where he gets boots, he could just do the boot checks by themselves much more efficiently and orphan Graveyard Ledge entirely. Which, you know, if you feel behind enough, that doesn't sound like a bad idea at all.
Yeah.
But we said the same thing about the Eastern Palace Big Key Chest.
Oh man, I mean, you know, I'm actually really glad still to see though. Like Ben looks like he's playing right just as level-headed as he was before, right? I mean, last locationing many things can't really be over really, but he's really making his way along. Of course, it would really be nice if we could find those boots soon, though. Unfortunately, no sign of these boots anywhere on either mother's side.
Okay, so Benteezy gets his glove here, his mitts. So naturally he'll do the rest of Death Mountain since he's here. But what he does after this will determine exactly how far behind he's going to be. I think he's behind no matter what, unfortunately. But like if he goes and does all the same things that Eri did, he's super far behind. But if he like immediately goes to Ice Palace and finds progression, then he's not as far behind.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not within the realm of without the realm of possibility, right? You know, Ben unfortunately, did last locate, the mirror, right, and kind of got some late stuff. So maybe that's some motivation, right, to think, well, maybe if Eri ended up doing these, I've lost anyway.
Yeah, it's a really common mindset. I'm so far behind because my gambles didn't pay off that the only way I can still win is to make more gambles to make up for my gambles.
Well,
these are the kind of things that lead to players like blind pulling pedestal instead of going to crystal dungeons.
Well, all right. So where it looks like Eri's gonna go into green pendant Ice Palace versus pendant thieves for 3 items.
Or swamp, yeah.
You know, something about this tournament makes me think that there could be a hookshot in Swamp Palace.
Yeah, it's not crazy. I really think he would have done swamp if he didn't get the flute where he did.
Oh, that's
like
possible,
if there is nothing in K45, then he goes over and he does Bombos and Purple Chest, still gets nothing. You're already in the Dark World, you might as well just go into Swamp right then. But the flute drew him away. So if it ends up being Swamp, I think he's going to be a little disappointed by that location. Okay, so that is not how you do the bomb strat. But
yeah, it looks like the bombs were slightly different.
They all died anyway. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not often. Sometimes you don't come here often with like no boost, no hook shot, nothing, right?
Well, the bomb strat's actually the fastest strat of all the things you can do in that room if you only have the Master Sword. And it's super not too hard. You just walk down to the second tile, place 2 bombs to your right, pick one up, throw it left, and then hold down to the third tile from the bottom and wait for the chest to spawn. 100% consistent.
Speaking of consistency, though, holy cow, Eri demonstrating just how the bomb floor room should be done in Ice Palace. Did get some pretty good, friendly barrier RNG, but still really clean. Unfortunately, here no boots though. It's in order to do the conveyor belt room the way at least to be able to dash the rest of the way through. That's still pretty good.
Nicely done.
It's almost as if he knows how to do these rooms in NMG from before.
Both runners skipped Spike Cave, right?
Yes, I believe I did not see anything on either side.
I don't think either of them had the equipment for it.
Oh, right, that's right. And yeah, we did have, I think, a bottle, but yeah, no invisibility item, so.
Well, Benteezy has a blue potion. He could have done it. But I think Eri was still bottleless at the time. This is a not often seen bomb jump. But you can see Eri did the little spin setup there to land on the closest pixel to falling down, which is a perfect pixel for that bomb jump.
Oh, Benteezy, though, looks like he kind of came from the south in order to get up to the village of outcasts, so this is actually going to be pretty nice for him because he's going to be able to pick up his flutes. Which we know is definitely required.
Now just go do the other orphan mirror check too, and we're being business. But yeah, going immediately to a required progression item after finding the myths seems like a good thing for sure.
Alright, so it looks like on Ares, so we found all 3 shields. We're definitely not going to care about risking whatsoever. Also, it's grade 20 at this point. But anything else that we found in Ice Palace so far?
Not that I've seen, just that shield. I think that's our only item, right?
So far, I think that's all I've seen. Yeah, maybe we will be treated to a cool stair fight on Aaron's side.
Oh, nice stair clip.
Oh.
Well, almost nice.
Yeah, unfortunately,
he got it. He just took damage. That's all.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of unfortunate. He does remember though that he does not have the hook shot, so he can't get there the hook block through.
It's his second item, so he could have bomb jumped over to Iced Tea room, and instead is coming this way. So I don't know if he's planning to just skip Iced Tea. No, he's going back. I don't know why he didn't bomb jump then. Or no, he is going back. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, like, I think once you come here, like, unless you find progression, you probably.
Yeah, I guess he was just hoping that the big chest just, had the Canis Maria, and then he could just mirror out and say, "I don't care what else is in here."
Alright, looks like Ben is going to finish up the rest of his Kakariko checks. I don't remember if he actually been to Sick Kid or not, but he will. But if he hasn't, he's going to check that, and then presumably activate his flute and head over to the Meyer area.
And that was our third item in Iced Tea. So he's not leaving, so we're going to get our green pendant for our, mystery fourth item.
At least with the flute, he has a pretty fast early turn-in for that green pendant. Man, that anti-fairy, though, does not want to be powdered. Alright, so Aries going to come up tier to Cold Stare. Probably not the fight that he's used to with Temper Sword, but he's got, Fire Rod, he's got Bombos if he wants it, he's got Half Magic, hopefully should be a pretty fast fight.
That's cute, the little slashes he did there. So he did that to time out the icicle falling, so that it would be at a more amenable time to what he wanted to do. Although it didn't seem to work out properly.
Unfortunately, he missed, I think, the original spin. Maybe he was too early. Didn't quite end up getting the Colster Puffs in the corner.
Yeah, that's what he was trying to avoid that happening by delaying when he casts Bombos. It changes when the icicle falls in relation to when you want to do the spin. But it ended up not working out to his advantage.
Yeah, that's what Half Magic and Fire Rod is for.
All right, here we go. Green Pendant or Bust.
We have certainly seen our fair share of vanilla boots in this tournament so far. Maybe that's what we're gonna get. Alright, Benteezy finishing up his, at least, checks over for purple chest. Not gonna have anything, and then off to Meyer.
Da, 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 da.
Oh
Oh,
man!
Ice Palace, just a void of nothing.
Wow. At least I guess Aries up to full health. It's not going to matter to him whatsoever, unfortunately. Oh, it looks like this is
Okay,
exactly
so
where
yeah,
Ben is going.
I was like 2 seconds away from saying, well, Benteezy could skip it and save a bunch of time. And looks like he did change his mind. He doesn't want to go into Ice Palace just yet, but that is clearly the thing that he was planning to do. And Eri really doesn't want to go to Swamp. We're headed to Thieves Town now. So this seed actually is pretty terrible.
Man.
Because Eri, even with his amazing routing skill versus, or routing luck, however you would like to define it, even after all that amazing routing in the beginning, still going to end up last locating Swamp Palace here.
I mean, it's like as you said earlier, what were our choices, right? Going into Green Pendant Ice Palace without the Cane of Moria, doing the back of Thieves Town for 3 items, or going into Crystal Ice Swamp Palace without the hookshot. It's just like
that fluke.
I mean, you know, it's like where there's nothing appealing about any of those things.
Yeah, no, it's all terrible. Swamp's easily the worst of the 3. Like the only reason I would have said he would have gone into Swamp before, like if he hadn't got the flute where he did, was just because he was already there. But when you have to factor in, I have to go enter the Dark World and then go to Swamp, it seems even less appealing. And unfortunately, Benteezy is also going to Ice Palace first. So
Yeah,
no time to save.
From his perspective, right?
No, yeah, it makes sense.
Items, yeah,
it makes sense. It's just unfortunate. What a terrible scene.
You know, at least on Benteezy's side, right? He is coming in here with Temper Sword. That Eri has just picked up on his side, right? So at least he's going to probably have a little bit faster coaster fight. Not to mention maybe the rest of the rooms as well. Just getting that little extra boost of damage. Looks like he's going to opt to just do Temper Spins, right? This is and versus the bomb strats. I mean, but at this point, like, where is our progression? Okay, so what do you think is going to be the next piece of progression that we're going to find? Is it going to be the hook shots so we can finish up Swamp? Is it going to be the boots?
It's going to be Maria.
It's going to be... Oh, okay. Are we going back up to Turtle Rock at this point, then?
If we get Kane, we'll do, yeah, Turtle Rock next with no Ice Rod. So when we're talking about like the odds of finding an item, right? The more things that item unlocks, the more likely it is it's going to be the next thing. And of all the things we're missing, the cane unlocks the most things, I think. Boots is what, like 3 items?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if did we get everything in Desert, or is there something on Lamo?
I think we found 1 item in Desert.
Okay. Yeah, so what? Boots unlock like Bok Rocks, King's Tomb, and 1 item in Desert, and...
Yeah.
Oh, and I guess whatever we can find in Mire without the cane too, right? Oh man, this... no one...
Oh yeah, because I can get into it with the boots, right?
Yeah,
plus Mire. And then the hookshot is just like Mire, back of Swamp, and hookshot cave. It's not... I guess it's a kind of a lot. But the cane gives us all of Turtle Rock, except for Trinex. So that's 5 or 6 items with Mimic Cave.
Oh, right, yeah, that's right. There is Mimic Cave because we have that mirror.
I guess the hookshot unlocks more, now that I think about it.
Oh, unfortunately.
I still think it's going to be the cane, though.
Okay, alright, you know
that would be me. Alright, so Eri is super not wanting to go to Swamp here, so let's just go to Spike Cave real quick and Ether Tablet.
I think Eri did check Ether Tablet at the very beginning. He just, it was just Couch Clash and he didn't get it.
Okay, so just out of logic Spike Cave. And yes, this is out of logic even with advanced placement. Logically, you do have to have either the blue cane or the cape +1 magic extension.
Oh, man.
In order to get those 10 arrows.
Oh, that is so rough.
Swamp Palace we go. To Swamp Palace we go.
Right. You know, I'm sure Eri and Ben are feeling super great about this. How they've played the scene out so far.
I can the groans. I can hear the groans.
Okay, so certainly for Eri and Ben's sake, when they eventually come to Swamp Palace, it would be really great if they could get the hook shot so they can just clear the dungeon. They don't have to ever come back, right? It would be super swell. Knowing the game, though, of course, maybe, as you said, maybe we'll just find the Canis Maria and then we'll have to go somewhere else.
I mean, ideally you find Hook and Kane, right?
Oh, okay. That's very optimistic of you, Koi. But Swamp Palace has been known to have progression.
If we do find the hookshot in Swamp, there probably is a second progression item in here. But
so
if it's the Cane, it's probably just the Cane.
Yeah, and this, even find hookshot early. You are doing left side, right? Presumably, because I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we're last location there.
Yeah.
And it's not even just last location. It's last location, and we are what, 4 items from Goma, 5 items from Goma.
We still need, yes. I think from the last time that we checked, like 35 minutes ago or something. Yeah, we're still.
I don't care what items you find in Swamp Palace. You are full clearing this, no matter what.
Alright,
first chest.
Dropping down the cold stair. Yeah. Oh man, still map! The suspense continues. Alright, looks like Ben's gonna go off more NMGS stress with that tempered sword, 6 slashes.
Yeah, nice slash strat.
Nice job. We were expected to have the Canis Maria before we cleared Ice Palace. I don't know if that's useful information or not.
Well, I mean, they didn't lead to anything, so you were expected to have literally every item before doing it. What are we doing? Oh, did he skip iced tea? Oh, he skipped iced tea.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, that's not good. He skipped iced tea, hoping that the last item was just on the boss, thinking, well, the boss has green pendant anyway, so let's get a twofer. Unfortunately, with iced tea, and it's not even progression. So going all the way through here again, not going to lead to anything.
This is also pretty bad for right because Ben, isolated one item in Eastern. He's like, maybe it'll be on the boss, right? And then it ended up being, of course, the mirror, which lost so much stuff. And now he's going to go back for a heart piece or something like that. And iced tea is, oh man, it's just tough to feel Ben.
First 2 checks in Swamp Palace: map and compass.
Yeah.
Great.
Definitely go left side.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were talking about, like, if you found the hookshot in, like, the first chest or something, do you try skipping left side then? If I found, like, the Cane in the first chest of Swamp, I think I would mirror out and just leave. Go straight to TR. But hookshot, I think you just full clear. Yeah, Ben realizing he doesn't need to do the bomb jump all over again, since he's just going to Ice Tea. Alright, Eri headed over to the left side. Alright, chat, what do you think? One of these has to have progression, or lead to progression. Left chest, right chest, or both? Let's see some guesses before Eri drops down. The middle chest. Left chest with the hookshot. The dream. The biggie. Well, at least we won't have to walk back into Swamp for the big chest. We can just get it on the way to the boss. Alright, so the hookshot for us unlocks 3 locations, one of which, obviously, we can finish Swamp. Great. Number 2 is we can go to Caneless Mire for 1 to 2 items. And thirdly, we can go back up to Hookshot Cave for 4 items.
Oh, well, that's nice
Oh
to
yeah,
see
sorry.
at least.
Now we can unlock Meyer. I forgot about the medallion. But now we can go to Meyer.
Ari was so excited that he forgot that he needed a small key. Because normally you would just have it, because you would have the hook shot already. Alright. Presumably Ari is going to give us a demonstration here of Diver Down. No Kana Samari, of course, but we can always do it the old-fashioned bomb way. This is actually pretty good for Ben, right? He is on his way into Swamp Palace, so this is going to be the next piece of progression, at least for him. So all things considered,
Yeah, I mean he's pretty far behind, but he's on the right track at least. The main problem is just graveyard left.
Oh right, yeah. So I mean, at least presumably if he goes there before he goes up to Turtle Rock, though, yeah. But as you said, Koi, like right now, we're not really sure how incentivized he's going to be to go up there for that one out.
The only way he goes to Graveyard Ledge is if he's doing it with the boots checks or its last location.
Unfortunately, no boots yet. At 1:20. Yeah, I mean, it's also demonstrating here can't do the poke dashes on Argus, so can't do the pull and slash. Nice fire rod stuff for phase 2.
And we are seeing lots of green 20s. The majority of these are just going to be heart containers and heart pieces, since both of our runners are at our maximum collectible hearts. But maybe one of them was a sword.
And one of them could have been the other bow.
Yeah, or
I guess we'll never know.
The male upgrades. Even the mirror shield on Ares' side.
Wow. Ari also demonstrating that you can use iframes in order to just get to that bird just that much faster.
And heading straight to Hookshot Cave here. Definitely the more dense of his two choices, the other one being Meyer with no cane. It feels bad if this isn't the answer though, right? Because it's like a whole extra 90 seconds to climb the mountain.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. Like we're last locationing everything else, might as well last location till the very end.
I mean, these kinds of seeds, right? It would just feel a little bit better if you could at least dash your way through instead of you literally walked everywhere for the last 80 minutes. Maybe boots would just be here.
Boots make every seed better. Even the worst seeds don't feel that bad if you have boots.
Alright, Benteezy. On into Swamp, gonna hopefully get his hook shot relatively soon. We can see it. The nice part, of course, of Left Side Swamp is that you have to do all of this. But I guess, at least if you're doing this the first time around, right, it'll save you the whatever number of seconds, 15 or whatever, versus you coming back and doing it again. Not that they're going to have that option.
Nice rod in the Hookshot Cave.
So that's everything we need to clear Turtle Rock. Oh, and Arcane.
Samaria. Alright, cool. We can full clear Turtle Rock. Sweet. Alright, so the one saving grace of this seed. We're gonna find the boots. Right? We didn't find them fast. We didn't find them late. We're gonna find them super late. It's our go mode item. But at the end of this seed, we absolutely will have the boots.
And we will have the boots for GT, which, if you've ever tried bootsless GT, it's really not that very much fun. Okay, Ari, putting his new hookshot to use here very shortly. gonna be able to do this the more common way in order to hookshot off the torch, so you can just get out of the conveyor belt that much faster.
Go
so
mode.
fast. Yeah, Boots Go mode isn't really all that it's cracked up to be, you know. But at an hour, whatever, 23 minutes, at least Eri found the boots, and he can get out of Turtle Rock as fast as he possibly can.
I can't get over that flute location though.
Oh man.
If the flute had just been like anywhere else, like we go to Swamp way earlier than this. Oh, Benteezy forgot the key too.
Yep. Everyone's just so excited, right? And I mean, you definitely have the key always when you're coming back here. So, you know, with Temper Sword, with Boots, with a couple extra goodies like Half Magic, I think this is right up Eri's wheelhouse for muscle memory. Probably even more extra health than he's pretty used to at this point for Turtle Rock. Certainly probably not going to complain, because everything in Turtle Rock does like 4 hearts of damage. Gets through chomps pretty well. That room definitely has ended many a run for people. So where is Benteezy going after Swamp Palace? Because he doesn't have bombos in order to get up to Turtle Rock. So he might also go up to Hookshot
Well, I don't
Cave.
think not being able to get into Turtle Rock is something he's super concerned about, but it's just Hookshot Cave versus Meyer.
Well, right. So he's gonna presumably come up the mountain to Hookshot Cave, and then he still can't get into.
Yeah,
Turtle
and he
Rock,
gets his Chain and Ice Rod, and then he goes to Meyer, which he can full clear. Doesn't get the boots or bombos there. And then, you know, we're hard last location again, and he has to go to Graveyard Lodge. Very unfortunate.
Yeah, so maybe, you know, I'm not even sure what to hope for, because, you know, if maybe like Meyer's big key is, you know, like buried, right, or in his vanilla big key chest location, it's probably not going to be too much of a difference in terms of what Eri is going to clear versus Ben's going to clear in Meyer.
We're still a ways away from the seed actually ending, but it's hard to imagine Eri making enough execution errors for Benteezy to come back here.
Oh, did Benteezy not check Baba's tablet? Looks like.
Oh, I guess not. Oh, that is weird, because he did K45.
Oh, he came from the south though, so I guess he just never came over here. Maybe he got too excited when he saw his flute in K45. Alright, so chasing, maybe he'll turn that in now? Oh no, Eri.
This room is just not happening. What is going on?
Yeah. Luckily, Eri did have boots, so he can at least dash and get some defense going with the sword held out. That room is very, very dangerous if not done right.
Here, well, Benteezy heading up to Hookshot Cave, so he'll find the progression items and avoid that double dip of Meyer.
Alright, so good first head on Eri's side. Got some backdoor strats in.
Yeah, the second one was being a little elusive.
Alright, but otherwise though, Ice Head goes down pretty quickly, so phase 2 though, one spin and a slash. Good thing Eri has enough health to take one hit. Alright, so maybe, you know, for Eri's sake, we're gonna go to Meyer, we're gonna find a God Meyer for Big Key, gonna be one of our first 2 checks, and then Eri can just hurry up and finish up the seed.
Yeah, it's funny, some people in chat talking about it. From Eri's point of view, this seed has gone really terribly.
Yeah, I mean,
you from his point of view, right? I went everywhere, I did everything, and I last located my go mode item. how could this seed have gone worse? And then after the race ends and they have a conversation with each other, then we'll tell him exactly how it could have gone worse.
No, this is pretty unfortunate for both these runners. Eri, though, taking care in order to kill the bird. So the bird, of course, is not actually affected by the quick medallion because it's flying. And quick medallion only affects things that are on the ground. So if you actually let the bird kind of go, it's just gonna kind of like hover over you and hit you, which is really not what we want.
Flying types are immune to ground type attacks.
Oh, man.
Got it. We should have used the ice rod or the ether medallion because flying is weak to ice, right? and then you can throw it in the water. I saw a player do that once. I thought it was funny.
Just once? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we'll ask Eri to do it next time.
I certainly don't do it every single time I can, even when the medallion isn't ether. That would be crazy.
We are gonna see a slight difference. So Ben, as you said, so we can't, he doesn't have the Bombos medallion, unfortunately, right? So he can't get into Turtle Rock. Probably gonna see a bit of a difference though in terms of how much time is even at least spent in Mire, but not having boots versus Eri. He did have a nice Mire too, with boots, sword beams, fire rod, pretty textbook for Eri. Unfortunately, no big key though in sight.
There. Show me the big key. Oh man.
That is unfortunately nowhere close to a big key. Not even a small key.
Right,
so I guess we have chances, right? That we have one more check, I think, or maybe two before we have to do cutscene.
Two more. Standard routing is to try and last locate the cutscene chest when you're looking for the big key.
Yeah, at least the good part is that we don't care about any more items, so we know that it can't be the big key can't lock itself. Eri is showing.
I never saw anybody do it on that spot. That's cute.
Yeah, that is a really nice rail clip. Oh, and we don't have to do the big key the middle of the big key location and wait for the cutscene. It's gonna be nice.
All right, using my napkin math, I think that saves maybe like 4 seconds if you do it perfectly both times. That was cute though. I never saw anybody do it on the second one there because you could have just gone down 2 more rows and dashed over, but that was faster.
Oh, unfortunately on Ben's side, he doesn't have boots, so he's not going to be able to get through those rails the way that Eri did. Have to, go things like within the boundaries of what people intended for us to do. Eri doing some nice dash spooky strats. After all this time, we never found the blue cane or the cape.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Eri. Oh my gosh!
Oh my
Eri.
god!
Wow. I will say that the lightning kind of sniped him, but jeez, we didn't have to. Thank you, Sekar, presumably, because he picked it up at some point.
Well, maybe you know what it is. It's because this Vitreous fight he just did was way harder than doing it in NMG, right?
Oh, true.
It's all the same equipment or whatever, right? We got basically the same hearts and temper sword and everything, but at least in NMG, you know exactly how far ahead or behind you are.
That is certainly true.
You don't have that same level of stress as in this race where he might be looking at the racetime.gg room thinking Ben's gonna dot at any second. Because this would have been a really fast seed if either runner just immediately went to swamp. Which some people do that.
That is true. Some people certainly do that. Oh wow, look, do you see that Hulk speed coming out of desert? Certainly a bit more dangerous. I mean, certainly not too big a deal like with the flute, but if you can't control that super speed, you can
Yeah,
jump
usually
right
you
off.
have like that's pretty common strat for NMG, right? Like where you get spin speed coming out of that room to go up to the top, but you use a menu as you clear the stairs to switch over to lamp to prevent yourself from accidentally hopping off. But quick swap, no menu to do that.
Yeah, menu buffers are definitely very helpful.
So that definitely shows some really fantastic control from Eri to not accidentally hop off the ledge there, even in the super speed state.
Alright, so let's see how Benteezy ends up taking down Vitreous. Imagine he's going to do something pretty similar to what Eri did. 3 Source Fizz to try and use on the iframes.
That was a perfect Vitreous fight.
Yeah, cleaning up a couple of iron eyeballs, with some arrows, but yeah, otherwise, really nicely done on his side. Hey, we found the cave.
Hey! Alright.
Perfect!
Buffer cave!
Yeah. Or Spike Cave, right? Because that's now in Logic.
No, we already saw it though. He could go back. It's okay. I wouldn't mind. He's got time.
We know he's got time. Eri probably thinks, as he said, right? He's just watching that race time room. Is like, is Ben done yet?
So Eri is headed up to Ganon's Tower, everybody. Ganon's Tower. In Ganon's Tower, there are 22 item locations, one of which will contain the big key that we need to finish the seed. I believe the bot is broken, but if you'd like to guess anyway, you can put your guess 1 through 22 in the chat now.
Oh, this is going to be another difference between Ben and Eri. So, oh my gosh, Ben just starts having the worst luck between where that last item in the dungeon is, because he still needs bombos, right? He still needs boots, so he's still looking, and the last item, I guess, is in cutscene chest. Oh man. So this is going to be, he's 0 for 3 at this point, right? Because he gambled Eastern Palace, which he lost on. He gambled Ice Palace, which he went back for and lost on because it wasn't anything, and he's doing the same thing for Fire.
Yeah, just not his seed, that's for sure.
No, it's not. Wizrobe's getting in the way of that last torch. Alright, classic Eri entering GT, no sword out to save that extra lag, or reduction of lag, before he enters in the tower.
I love the little things like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they had the blue cane.
Oh good.
There are like 100 of those tiny little this saves 2 frames things that you see like really high level NMG players do. I try to do the ones that I know about, but I know there's a whole bunch more that I don't even know exist.
I mean, there are hundreds of them, right? Yeah, and like to really keep track of all of them. I mean, there's a reason why Eri has 123 times in NMG. So, oh right, we're already counting, right? So we saw a torch, which was a bottle, so that was 1. So this is 2 through 5. Yeah, so far it looks like this is pretty standard routing from Eri. Doing left side to southwest room, and then veering out guarantees you a small key, so you can take compass room. Looks like that guarantee did not end up mattering today because we did find a small key here anyway.
Yeah, this is a really popular route because of the consistency with the keys, right? Where compared to like going to compass room first, where you're kind of reliant on a key being in the hope room to do that. But also, it's a really front-heavy route. Like, you get a lot of the checks really early in your route and put off the more out-of-the-way ones. But at the end of the day, the best GT route is whichever one gets you to the big key the fastest, which sometimes that's just going to tower room, sometimes that's just going to random room. So just because your route is statistically best doesn't mean it'll save you the most time every time. And big key in the 4th chest because there was a small key in the 3rd one.
Yeah, so no, this is definitely really good. And Eri did end up getting a couple extra checks, so if you, as you said, if you just happen to do Hope Room first, you would have gotten there just slightly faster, but, it's not... Your C doesn't always work out.
It's luck of the draw.
Yeah.
I mean, we like to blame luck on a lot of things in this game, but that is one where there is no right answer until you know where the answer is.
Eri, though, flying through these mimics. Holy cow.
Very fast. There's like 100 different strats for how to do those mimic rooms, but the very fastest ones are very difficult, and Eri shows them off so flawlessly.
So it wasn't since he's, practiced these rooms a couple, hundred.
Yeah, he's played this game a couple times, at least.
Alright, so we actually are seeing Benteezy check out Graveyard Live. This is really good news for him.
It's his last location. Yeah, he doesn't have anywhere else to go.
But at least he's going to pick up Bombos. He is going to make his way up to Corner Rock after this. And at least he is going to be able to get his boots. Eri, though, already in Gauntlet, showing... Oh no. Thanks, Isaac. So this is another benefit of Rando and Half Magic, right? Because in NMG, you're just never going to use the Fire Rod to hit anything. But, at least in Rando, especially in this situation, you have so much magic to spare. Like, if something's not in your way, just fire it off. Alright, Eri, saving that one cycle with
yeah, one extra Fire Rod shot, but we still got the one cycle.
Alright, and still, of course, enough magic left over to use King of Samaria to kill off these Wizrobes. You're almost to the boots, Ben. You can do it.
Persevere!
Yes.
This, like, the only way this seed really could have gone worse for Ben is if all those boss fights where he almost died, if he just actually died.
Oh man, that's Ben has definitely executed very well throughout, right? Even actually in Escape, right, very early on, he was actually very resourceful, right? He ended up getting some bodied by like the early key rats, right? And he was able to recover very, very nicely.
No, yeah, it's at the end of the day, like I said this at the beginning of the seed, right? These are such great players with such amazing execution that it's very unlikely that execution was going to be the difference between them. Because they're both so good that you can't really gain an advantage if your opponent's also really good. So it all came down to routing and luck. Ooh.
Hold on.
Yeah, I think we'll call Eri going to Sahasrara before going to the Dark World just because he was buying bombs luck, and we'll call Benteezy skipping the mirror routing.
That was just an unfortunate gamble, right?
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time it doesn't hurt that much, right? You maybe, if there was like another sword there, right? It's like it does hurt, but it's not going to really like keep you from, from progressing and last locating that hard. Alright, Eri though. Yeah, Eri on his way, already in Agnum 2. Was that a double? Unfortunately, I didn't even see
I think that was only 2 hits, yeah.
Okay.
Another double.
Oh, nice 2-2-2. Eri even got a blue ball on the second phase, so it wasn't even possible to get a 2-cycle. Oh man, Eri, he is so eager to get to Canada at this point. He can't wait. 3.5 hearts, not probably the most comfortable. Fire Bats, of course, do 4 hearts of damage early on, the first couple phases, so Eri is technically in one-hit can mode, but I think, does he still have a fairy? I don't think he used it yet. And he's got at least like one red potion that he picked up later.
Yeah, not to mention, this is probably the most practiced part of Randomizer. Ganon is the only thing you do every single time. Except maybe going to Kakariko. But then, Jula Ninja will disagree.
Alright, of course, Eri looks like he seems to got the 1-on-1, staying in the safety of the circles of bats. Alright, so certainly past the first, the most dangerous phases. Can't still touch Ganon, but Fire Bats at this point do 2 hearts of damage. So probably like the worst that can happen at this point probably is to get knocked off, so you have to kind of start the fight all over again.
Alright, sets up his early silverless hit there. Nicely done. Goes for a second one.
Oh, wow!
Very nice, and the Fire Rod gets the torch glitch as well. Very clean.
Yeah, no, it's always cool to see people getting Fire Rod Torch Glitch as opposed to Lamp, because it does require a bit of timing, as opposed to Lamp, you just kind of, spam. But, regardless, Aries got his Torch Glitch, which means he's got more than enough time in order to land some triple hits in. Without Torch Glitch, you probably just have enough time for doubles. And he is just a couple sword spins away from claiming victory in this race. With that, so fast for phase 4. Eri is just waiting for this fanfare to finish. Get your GGs out in chat for Eri, finishing first place between himself and Benteezy, claiming victory 1-0 in this series. Let's see if we can get an official time. 1 hour, 43 minutes and 43 minutes and 30 seconds. GG's, Eri.
GG.
Alright, looks like right when Eri basically done, Benteezy has decided that he will no longer continue the seed. Very, very understandable.
Yeah, he's like, he saw a whole nother dungeon to do before he can even go to GT.
Speaking with, we are joined by our victor today. GG's, Eri.
Thank you.
So,
I have one question, one very important question. When you went to Sahasrara, why? Was it just because you were buying bombs? Because it looked like you only went there because you needed bombs, and it was on the way.
Yep.
Okay, just needed to be sure. Benteezy joins us as well. Hey, Benteezy.
hey, GG's.
Hello.
That
Yeah, GG's,
seed
man.
did not go your way today.
No, that seed was 100% out to get me. That seed was like, if my opponent could pick the seed to play, that's what the seed was.
Oh yeah, because I totally had fun just wandering around the entire world.
Yeah, we were
without
talking about
boots.
that.
Well, no. I mean, just like, if you watched any of my races this tournament, you'll know, like, even my worst qualifier was the qualifier where there was, like, a sword at Vanilla Big Key and Eastern, and I just didn't go there, and I was on Fighter Sword, like, dropping into Ganon. I had to go look for a sword around the map for, like, 15 minutes. Like, everything, I just never go there, especially without Lamp, like, because it's just so unlikely that something will be there. And, like, if you roll the 50-50 and Armos has the item, you just gain a minute on your opponent anyway. And it just happened to be the one check in the entire game that blocked everything in the game. So
yeah, it was definitely an interesting seed because, like, from Aries' point of view, like, when we look at the comparison, like, everything's going Aries' way and nothing's going Ben's way. But if you only look from Aries' point of view, this seed is still awful, right? Like, you still end up last locating Hookshot and Swamp, and you full clear the entire game for nothing to be forced in there. I mean, the whole time you're probably thinking, like, Ben might have just gone to Swamp. You know, people do that sometimes, right?
Yeah, I didn't exactly expect Ben to do it. I knew there was a possibility. But I was like, well, I lucked into bow, into mirror, into mids. So I
got
could do
bailed out by the
everything.
flute, Harry. Because I was gonna do K45 shovel swamp, and then I got the flute, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll walk up and do Smiths and activate my flute first, and that like derailed me completely.
Yeah,
You have
Swamp was the
done the
first
same?
thing I did.
Eric, when you were doing K45 and Smith sequence, I was thinking, if he doesn't find anything from this, he might just go into Swamp right there. Would you have done that if you hadn't found the flute?
yeah, maybe. I was thinking about it, but I also had ice open, and I think if I could choose between like ice and half of swamp, even if I don't have
Ageless
cane,
Eyes and Hookless Swamp, yeah. What a world.
yeah. But like again, I didn't feel like I was in a bad position either way, just because I could be as efficient as possible. I think my only worries really were that something was in either Skullwoods or Thieves Town. But yeah, it just found tempered there. So
Yeah, that was
hard to say.
real early in the game when things started going your way, when you made that just a seemingly random walk over to Sahasrara right after you got Darkhold access and find, bow and flippers and then mirror right after. While, Benteezy doesn't do that, which is perfectly reasonable because why would you? And he ends up full clearing Thieves Town and killing Pendant Mothula, and all he got was a sword. And then immediately after he gets a sword, you find two up on the mountain. So like even before you skipped the mirror, things were already going Aries' way, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, I had pretty much resigned that items would have to be very deep buried, like in pendant ice or something, for me to have any chance that seed. Because I checked the pedestal like on my way to Dark World the first time, and I knew there was nothing to be gained for beating the pendants, and then Thieves and Skull both gave me nothing. So I was like, alright, so the seed is just going to be linear, one item to the next on the other side of the map, which is really unfortunate. And yeah, I have to get bailed out by ice or something, which is why in the end I wound up going there. Like after I got my flute and everything, I was just like, well, the only chance I have is if there's something in there, so I might as well go. And of course there wasn't. So.
And you took the same 50-50 in ice that you did in Eastern.
Yeah, I take that 50-50. I took it in pod too. I didn't do it with Vicky and pod.
And then Meyer as well.
And
I think you skipped the cutscene chest and it had the second item. Like nothing was going your way.
Yeah, like it was 4 coin flips in a row. That just on top of the fact that the items were not where I went. Every coin flip I took also backfired.
And then for the seed to give you such for your route to give you such that late mirror, and then for both Cave 45 and Graveyard Ledge to have progression, that was just rude.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the overworld having items is necessarily like detrimental to me.
None of the pendants having anything.
Yeah, I think I really needed the seed for there to be something on the east side of Dark World. I'm sorry, on the west side of Dark World. And I think I would have, if I had found anything in Thieves or Skull, I think I probably would have followed a very similar path to what Eri did for the rest of the seed. But being that far behind, 25 minutes into a walking seed, like it felt really bad. So I had to just keep doing things to try to make up time, and those things just kept costing me time. So it was just unfortunate.
Yeah. Silver lining though, this is game 1. Right, so you still have more opportunities in order to show Eri who's better at this game, right?
Well, I don't think you're better at the game.
Well, I mean, who's better on this one particular seed, this one particular time?
I don't ever want to be better on a seed like this. Like I got boots at what 141, mirrored out, went to desert and beat desert. Like the seed was absolute garbage. I had no boots, no hook, and no flute over an hour and 15 minutes into the seed. Like, I literally walked for an hour and 15 minutes.
Well, I hope you remain hopeful for your following seeds, though, against Eri.
I mean, the race room for this seed was called Lurking Plando, so I don't think the admins have any over that they're doing me.
I think you were very resourceful in Escape, though, because, like, when you ended up getting bodied by the key rat, or the rat in front of the key rat, like, you were able to recover, basically get some magic and just kill off the rat. So that was really cool to see.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I feel like execution-wise, I played pretty well. I had a close call at Mothula, and that's about it, but it's...
Helmasaur.
Oh, yeah, Helmasaur went...
I was terrified.
I decided to be a baby and use the bow, even though I know how to use the hammer just fine, and it backfired so hard. That's always what happens to me. If I ever try to be safe, it always backfires, so I just have to go full throttle all the time.
I think, Eri, you were swordless when you went to Helma?
Yep, that was a little close.
Yeah, we're also watching. So I guess thank you, Zenkart. Are you now on Team Zenkart, Eri, for Vitreous?
Vitreous?
Yeah, you ended up getting sniped by the laser at the end.
Oh yeah, right. But I knew I had a fairy, so I wasn't worried.
Oh, okay.
I was just more annoyed that the bottom eyeball didn't get hit by my arrow, because I was like in a position where I could just shoot up twice, walk into the slime, shoot left, just to get the 0 cycle still. But I think I shot a bit too early, so the bottom eye still had iframes. That was kind of weird.
Where was the key in GT? Just out of curiosity.
Compass room.
Compass room.
Oh, okay. So I wouldn't have gained any time. In fact, I would have lost time on you there. Because I would have did the opposite to try to gain time again. Because I would have felt behind.
Yeah, makes sense.
So that would have been another just example of the seed going Aries' way if it came down to that. Alright, well, have less luck tomorrow, Ari. Okay, thanks. Please.
I mean,
You don't need the luck. You have a 123. Like, just beat me with 6.
You have a 125. You're scary enough. I mean, you're probably. I mean, I don't know how many people there are on the tournament left that just match me in execution that I actually have to route well in order to gain an advantage.
I was thinking about that.
You're one of them. So
yeah, I was thinking about that
scary.
before the race. That is like you're probably like you and Blaine are like probably the two people I don't want to play because the only people I don't have execution advantages on. So I have to like do stuff like what I did today, which I think what I did today is normally so. I'll admit that full clearing Thieves and Skull was an accident because I picked up a bottle fairy and with Death Warping his
that's
Thieves.
right. We saw that. Yeah.
I excuse me, sorry, I messed up. So, like, I went to Death Warp out of Thieves and I revived with full health, and I was like, well, that already took 15 seconds, so I'm just gonna keep walking and hopefully there's something in here. So I didn't mean to do all of Thieves, and then I got a sword in the next chest, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is worth. And like DT won his race against Fred because he got a sword in Pendant Eastern, and Fred finished on Master Sword. What didn't work out for me though.
It turns out I full cleared everything as well.
Yeah, when when was it? Probably when I was done with the overworld, except for like after I did Catfish, I want to say. I was like, well, at this point, Aries probably doing Thieves and Skull, so I don't feel that bad about Thieves and Skull, but the fact had already remained that I had to double dip Eastern for the mirror. And it wasn't just like walk back in and walk to Vanilla Big Key, it was like I left and then I have to walk all the way back with no boots, no flute, no nothing. So it's so it was a good 3-4 minutes lost there, so I still felt incredibly behind.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hopefully
yeah, it was a rough seat. That's for sure.
Yeah, that was probably one of the worst seats.
Let's hope it's a bit more fun tomorrow. Let's actually not get go mode boots or something, Yeah,
earlier boots would be super swell, especially on the feet of you guys.
Yeah, we'd just make it a bit more interesting for us both and give us a bit more of an execution showcase as well, rather than just jog everywhere and.
Did you go to desert early?
Yes.
No.
Well, I fluted in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I went to desert from the dam because we had a book from Kakariko, and then I saw it was boots.
Yeah, you guys were after Kakariko, you were both really low equipment for doing Mini Moldorm Cave, but Aries still had one fire rod shot left, so he didn't have to worry about the center Mini Moldorm. So it was a little bit more reasonable for him to go to Mini Moldorm Cave.
What happened was that after Mini Moldorm Cave, I had 0 bombs. But I did get Dark World access. But I really wanted to do Hype Cave into West. So I was like, you know what? I'll just buy bombs, do Sahasrara, because who knows, you might do Sahasrara early. And then I find Flippers and Bow in Sahasrara. I was like, I'll do Eastern. And then
that's why you were over there.
Yeah. And then I was like, well, it's a coin flip. I don't have the lamp, but I'll just do. I got Bow early. It might take you a while to get here, so I'll just do the dark room, do the Vanilla Big Key, and then if I mirror there, I was like, nothing could go better than this. Yeah, it was disgusting. Just because I didn't have bombs after MMC. Yeah.
I think that's funny that you bring that up because I didn't expect you to go over there anytime early. Because of the early Dark World access, but that makes sense if you ran out of bombs and wanted to buy bombs. I was trying to get rid of my bombs.
You actually went to that same shop to buy bombs, Benteezy, but you did it and then immediately turned around and went to Mini Moldorm instead of continuing on to Sahasrara.
Yeah, part of the reason I went to Desert first was because I wanted to waste bombs at Agina so that I could buy 10 bombs. Yeah. And yeah. It just never worked out. I also farmed rupees at Dig Game for Zora and then just kept putting it off. And turns out my lamp was there. I probably would have done Vanilla Big Key if it was on logic. But when I went in there at the time, it wasn't, so. Who else? And I figured the dungeon is in logic, right? Just not that chest, right? Because
Yeah.
Yep.
you can fire on the torch, right? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm not bugging. So I was like, yeah, the game assumes you go this way, and they just gave me a bow, so maybe Armos has something. Armos is like, yeah, I have the map. Do you know where you are? And I was like, oh, okay, thanks, bud. Anyway, we could talk more about it later, Harry, if you want.
Yeah, I kind of need to get some sleep as well, but we could chill a bit. That seems good.
Hey, thanks for commentating, guys. Hope you
Yeah.
guys have fun. Sorry,
Oh.
that was
Our
bad.
pleasure. You weren't sorry. Let's just the route just didn't go your way.
But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, same time. Probably not same place, I believe. I think it's
Yet to be determined.
I don't believe it has been assigned at this point.
okay.
But yes, tomorrow at 5:40 Eastern, again, we will have Benteezy versus Eriror Game 2. Can Benteezy tie it up, or will Eri take the 2 of victory and move on in brackets? Channel 2 be determined. So I don't think
SpeedGaming
there's
to be determined.
yeah. I don't think there's much more rando for today that wants SpeedGaming. I think there might be a match or two happening like right now. But maybe not. Maybe those are already over even. But there will be more rando tomorrow for sure. Several matches are already scheduled. I'm sure at least 1 or 2 will get restreams. But again, GG's to Eriror for your victory, and Benteezy, best of luck in your next match tomorrow. I think we're going to call it here. What do you say, Clear Mouse?
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Ben and Ari, for, I mean, you guys were definitely troopers for walking for pretty much like the entire seed, like 80 and 100 minutes, right? Something like that. Certainly, hopefully that you guys will, have better luck, more fun seed next time, and best of luck, of course. Really exciting match, obviously, and thank you so much for racing today. Cool. Thank you for joining me here in the commentary booth.
Oh, and before I forget, also thanks to our tracker, Daruk. Daruk, thanks so much for tracking for us as well. And thank you, Clear Mouse, for the co-commentary. But we'll see you next time, Twitch chat and YouTube, I guess. Bye.
Right. Have a good night.